This is Evangelist George McTire of the Word of God Ministry, and I have a question for all of you people out there today. Makes no difference what political affiliation you have. Makes no difference whether you are one of the politicians or just the average Joe or Jane out on the street. To make no difference whether you male or female, black, white, or whatever other color you could be. Whether you're young or old, rich or poor, whether you have some sort of a religious affiliation, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish, or whatever, or even atheist. I want to put a question to you today in these days and times that we live in today, and especially at the end of this year. We have to make a choice between two groups of people, or should I say, two entities, one of which is Donald Trump, who is the present president of the United States, and the Democratic Party and whoever it is they decide to put up to run against him. Now, I'm sure most of you, or practically all of you, should come to the conclusion that nobody's perfect. So then the question must be asked, if nobody's perfect, how do you choose between two imperfect individuals? And the way you do that is, most people will say, well, you choose the lesser of the two evils. So my question to you today is this: between Donald Trump and whoever the Democratic Party puts up as their nominee to run against him, answer me this. You tell me which of the two is the worst. Which means if you're going to choose the lesser of two evils, you're doing that because you consider one to be a little better or better than the other, which makes the other one the worst. So the question is, you tell me which is worse. Now, here's where we're going to go into the questions, and I'll give you some little information here. Donald Trump is accused by the Democratic Party of a quid pro quo deal with the president of the Ukraine, even though that president and transcripts of the phone call prove that accusation is proven to be false. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, has a proven history of supporting the slaughter of 1.5 million unborn babies every year since 1972. That comes down from 1972 to today. That's somewhere whereabouts 70 million unborn babies, and it's still going up because the Democratic Party refuses to do anything to cut that number down, because they want to stand for a woman's right to choose and get all the votes of women. Next thing, Donald Trump is accused by the Democratic Party of being unfit to hold the office of President of the United States because of things that he says or does that they say is immoral. Democratic Party saying Donald Trump is immoral. The Democratic Party has a proven history of supporting the slaughter of 1.5 million unborn babies every year since 1972, which puts the number once again 70 million plus. The Democratic Party has a proven history of supporting homosexuality, lesbianism, gay marriage, transgender, the thing with transgenders, and just about everything else that goes against what God says is right and wrong. Now, mind you, morality is essentially based on what God says it is. And here the Democratic Party goes against just about everything that he says, yet and still they want to say Donald Trump is immoral for the things that he says and does, which, quite frankly, don't come anywhere near being immoral as far as God is concerned. Some things might be a little unethical or whatever, but and that's basically depending on how man looks at it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's unethical with God, because sometimes certain things have to be done that man says shouldn't be done, but they have to be done because God says you need to use wisdom and so forth. But anyway, we will move on. Donald Trump is accused by the Democratic Party of abusing the power of his office and putting America at risk by threatening those nations that seek to destroy us. The Democratic Party has a proven history of essentially trying to prove to those nations that we want to be friends with them, even though they have sworn to essentially try to wipe us off of the face of the map. And these Democrats will do so, trying to show that they're friends with them by giving them money, informing them when this or any GOP or Republican president is planning on attacking them in response to an attack on us so that they can get out of the way. This goes in line with the fact that when one of theirs is president, when one of these nations attack us or our people on foreign soil, they do nothing but make idle threats. And it's behind making those idle threats that 9/11 took place, because under Bill Clinton, we were attacked 4 times. The World Trade Center, 2 nightclubs or something in somewhere in Africa, somewhere around there where it was known to be hangouts for U.S. military and other U.S. forces and people frequented those clubs. Those were bombed. Then we had the attack on the USS Cole, and all Bill Clinton did was just say, "We know where you are. You can't hide. We're coming to get you." And they did nothing. That was a precursor of why 9/11 took place, because the terrorists were planning that while Clinton was in office, because they saw and felt that we didn't have the stomach for, fighting wars anymore, so they figured it was free to attack us. So they got the go-ahead under while Bill Clinton was in office to plan for it. And it just so happens that the thing took place under when George Bush took off, 9 months after George Bush took office. People want to blame this on Bush. It wasn't on Bush. It should be blamed on Bill Clinton. Because anybody knows when somebody's bullying you and you don't do anything, they just take the next step and get worse and worse. And under Bill Clinton, he showed that this nation was a patsy or somebody that could be easily walked over. But naturally, they found out that was a mistake. But anyway, and then George Bush got criticized for what we did do over there, for taking the fight into their backyard. So they were too busy protecting their own real estate and property in their own country, and they didn't have time to come over here and do any more damage, because we had taken the fight to them over there. And then what happens after Bush got out of office and Obama took office? What happened? Obama started pulling troops out from over there. Next thing you know, they're attacking us again. So that's just something to think about the Democrats when they're talking about Donald Trump is putting America in harm's way, and the American people in harm's way, by threatening those nations and telling them, if you try to mess with us, you come over here and step on our foot, we're going to come over there and kill your dog and wipe out your family. Anyway, let's go on a little further. Donald Trump is accused by the Democratic Party of contempt of Congress because he refuses to cooperate with them. The Democratic Party, which is the party that's in control of Congress, has a proven history of trying to impeach him by any means necessary. That includes making up lies, trying to dig up dirt, holding secret meetings, paying false witness, and just about every other underhanded thing that you can think of to try to get rid of this president. In fact, many of their people ran in 2018 on the promise to impeach him. That is their goal. Now, mind you, this is the political party that when they had their person, Barack Obama, in control, all types of stuff was going on actually right out in the open, and talk about lying and so forth. We had several people killed at one of our embassies in Benghazi because the candidate that ran against Donald Trump in 2016, Hillary Clinton, was Secretary of State. It was her job to protect these people, and they had called and asked for help while she was Secretary of State. She didn't do a doggone thing. Just allowed them to be slaughtered over there. Then tried to blame it on the fact that it was some movie that somebody here in the United States that might be affiliated with the Republican Party, some movie maker or something like that, made some sort of movie criticizing Islam or something like that, and that was the reason for the attacks. Then you got the thing about all of the missing emails, the thing of her having private servers in her house, using them to transact business, government business and stuff. Ain't no telling what all other countries have gleaned from her transmitting these emails on unsupported servers and so forth. And yet and still, the Democratic Party wants to claim that Donald Trump doesn't cooperate with them. Who would want to cooperate with him? If Donald Trump's getting ready to do something and he tells them, which under normal circumstances I guess he should do, but if he tells them, you can rest assured they're going to leak the information to the news media or something. News media is going to turn around and leak it to the people that are supposed to be getting ready to get attacked by us so that they can hide and so forth. So you got a United States Congress run by Democrats that is basically committing high treason by aiding and abetting our enemies so that our enemies can live to fight us another day. So as I say, what we have here is a man who, even though he is not perfect, as I said earlier, is being accused of things with absolutely no evidence by a political party that has proven itself with all types of evidence that they are as corrupt and ungodly as anything you can imagine. The question for you is this: so, will you tell me which one of these two do you or will you support?